folks, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, how are you?
Sam Healey, hello.
Merry Christmas! It's Christmas shopping season. It should be. You should be getting ahead of this sort of thing. And we want to tell you about some games which you can buy now or they'll be available in a week or two. Easily available games. Most of them can be found at Cool Stuff Inc., our sponsor. But these are great games. And today we're talking about family games. These are games that a family can have a lot of fun with. But it doesn't have to be just a family. It could be anybody who's looking for... a casual game might be a good word for it. Just want to get together and have some fun with some strategy, but nothing too overly heavy or complex. So we each picked 4 games to give you 12 games. Here we go.
My first one is a game that I have talked about at length for a long time.
I think the word is ad nauseum.
Yes, ad nauseum. But that just sounds like it's going to make somebody throw up.
That is what that means.
It is what it means.
But I don't ever want to throw up at this game. It's Jamaica. And Jamaica is a great little piratey themed racing game where you're trying to, you're captaining a ship that is racing around the island of Jamaica trying to get as much gold as possible and be the first person across the finish line to have the best chance of winning. It's really cool, beautiful artwork. The board really pops. It is a very aesthetically pleasing game. You feel like you definitely got your money's worth with Jamaica. So go check it out, Jamaica.
Lanterns, the Harvest Festival is the one I picked. And this is a very pretty, very attractive, very cleanly designed tile placement game in which you are collecting resources. You are supposed to be setting off fireworks, and you collect resources and you turn those resources in for some scoring tokens. And that's how you win, have the most points. But it's very interesting in that the tile placement mechanism takes into account where you are sitting around the table. And so when you play a tile, if there are fireworks facing the person across from you and those are purple, even on your turn, they will get purple. So it's really interesting, keeps everyone engaged all the time because you'll get something on everyone's turn. But it's a simple game you can play. It plays great actually with a mixed group of little older kids and grown-ups. So that's a recommendation for that. Lanterns.
All right, I got a game from a small publisher, Stonemaier Games, and that's Between Two Cities. Now, they've made some really big strategy games. This one's a simpler game in this game you're getting a bunch of tiles. And you're deciding which tile you're going to put in a city. And let's say Sam, me, and Zee are playing. Sam and I would have a city, and Zee and me would have a city, and then Sam and Zee would have a city. And we're putting tiles into both cities, and we're working on 2 cities with one other person. At the end of the game, each of the cities is going to get points for the things that are in it, and the smaller city is going to be your final score. So I can't make our city bad, and we're only work on this city. So you're trying to make these cities, and you're also trying to work together, although they're working with each other and working with other players. Very easy, simple game. It's only 20, 30 minutes long, but it offers some good choices to it. That's Between Two Cities.
Steampunk Rally is a game that just came out here in the last couple of months, and it is a game where each player is taking on the persona of an inventor from history, a real inventor from history, and you are in the Alps using a contraption that you have made up of your own mind and racing it through the Alps. And the first person to get the furthest past the finish line is the winner. And the tiles that come, it's a modular board setup where they're both double-sided, so there's a lot of replayability there because the racetrack changes every single time you play it. So Steampunk Rally is a really fun dice rolling game, and then you have to manipulate those dice to go forward on the track. Go check it out. Steampunk Rally.
Well, this next one has been a favorite of mine for some time now, and the game is called Biblios. And Biblios is simply a sort of a card drafting and a bidding game, but a quick one. The game will take about 30 minutes, and in it you are sort of playing 2 phases. The game is sort of split up in 2 halves. In the first half, you are taking cards into your hand, and you're sort of pushing your luck, because as soon as you keep a card, the next few will go to the other players. But you can take a card that is so-so, pass on it, and then maybe later not get a better card that round. The second half of the game, you are using the cards you took during the first half to bid and win some other goods that have laid out on the table. And so you have to be really careful with both of those halves. They feel different, but they make a single game together, and it just flows beautifully. The game is it's interesting, it's engaging, works really well with 3 actually. I think is my favorite number of players. So check that one out, Biblios.
Well, my game actually plays well with a large number of players, I think up to 6, and that's Camel Up. Actually, it might go up to 8.
It plays up to 8, and in fact, it has an expansion now which makes it go up to 10.
Wow. Well, in this game, there's just a bunch of camels that are racing, and you are betting on those camels. And that's kind of the gist of the game. The camels will move. If a camel lands on top of another camel, and then the bottom camel moves, he moves the one on top, goes with him. And so there's always a chance that even the camel in last place can win. There's a lot of guesswork here, a lot of, I hope this camel wins type thing and guessing. But in a family setting, it's just really fun. Everyone's like, oh, I think the green camel will win. And then sometimes it will. Lots of excitement and cheering. And it's not a very long game either. With some really cool ways to roll dice and pieces to the game too. That's Camel Up from Z-Man Games.
Cool. The next game on our list is a game called Artifacts Incorporated. It has a kind of a spelunking archaeology feel to it, where you are kind of taking on the role of a person leading an expedition, and you have these different areas that you can go. You can go into the ocean and dive down and try to find artifacts under the ocean, or you can go deeper into the desert and find things that you can take back to your museums and sell to them and that type of thing, or to wealthy investors or what have you. It's another dice rolling game. That's a theme that's, well, a mechanic that's used in a lot of the games that I've picked for these lists. And you're using the dice to do those different things that are out there. It's a worker placement type game. So very cool game. It probably takes around 45 minutes to an hour for a full game. Really interesting. Go check it out. Artifacts Incorporated.
My choice is just in case the family has the little ones and the little ones are not quite old enough to play yet. It's just you and your spouse. Then I have to recommend Blue Moon Legends. Blue Moon Legends is a reprint of a previous game that was simply called Blue Moon. And there's quite a bit in this new box because they've taken that old game and added lots of things into the box. It's a game that is quite simply a head-to-head duel with these interesting peoples that you are playing. You can pick the one you want and then go at it. It's going to be the kind of game that you can enjoy for a long time. Say when you have a little bit of downtime at night or something like that, you'll be able to come back to it, and it will get better the more you play it, the more you are familiar with the cards in your playing deck. And then if you are tired of one peoples, you can try another one. It includes 8, I think. So lots of legs on this one, and a really neat head-to-head 2-player game that is Blue Moon Legends.
I keep putting this game or a version of this game each year on the Christmas list, and this year it's King of New York, which is a sequel to a very popular game called King of Tokyo. They're very similar, and either one of them is fine. I think King of New York is easier to find at this point in time, which is why it's on my list. But in this game, you can be Godzilla or King Kong or whatever. They have different names, but you're some giant monster terrorizing New York, trying to score the most points in different ways by smashing tanks, destroying buildings, punching the other monsters, and winning that way by being the dominant monster. Plays pretty quickly. Everyone has a lot of fun. You know, it brings all those cheesy movies and just this direct competition with the other players. Everyone will laugh. And you play this once, you can't. You'll play this over and over again, and it goes up to 6 players. So that's a lot of fun. King of New York.
This next game also takes place in New York, but instead of destroying New York, you're actually trying to build the different buildings that make up the New York skyline. And of course, the skyline doesn't actually play into it. It's just the actual buildings that you're placing onto the board. You're trying to get the most points from placing the buildings in the right areas. And so it's a very, very easy game to teach and to play, maybe a little bit harder to master, but it is a very simple game. I think it hits well on the family medium. So that is New York 1901.
If you're looking for a drafting game that you can play with a family settings, nice and clean and quick, then I recommend Medieval Academy. Medieval Academy is a game in which you are training to be a knight, basically. And there are several things you need to be good at. However, in the game, there is no way you can be good at all of them. And so you'll have to sacrifice something for which you will not score some points. It's quite simply grab some cards, keep one past the rest, you draft your hand, then you'll play those and move up on several tracks on the board, which is made up of several tiles. It's a very straightforward and neat design, and that's what I like about it so much. It goes over well with just about everybody, and if you play up the theme and your role in the game especially, you can have some real fun with it. That is Medieval Academy.
All right. One of the most popular games in the world is Settlers of Catan, or Catan. This game, Machi Koro, will appeal to you if you like that game. In this game, it's kind of almost like a stripped-down Catan. Instead of a board, you just have cards in front of you, and you will roll dice, and so that will make some of your cards give you money, and that's what you're trying to get, money in this game. And as you go around, different combinations of dice, different buildings will do things, and then you buy more buildings, and those buildings will do things. Sometimes you'll get things when other people roll the dice. And so there's this going around. There's a couple expansions which change the cards in and out. There's a deluxe version, but all these versions just come down to roll the dice, look at your cards, and see what happens. It's a very simple concept, but how you build your city is what makes it different, and how you're different than the other players. A lot of fun. That's Machi Koro. And that's it. We had 12 family-style games. We hope that you pick some of these, play with your family, buy them for other families. I think they're pretty solid games. And, you know, what better thing to do on Christmas, I guess, than play a game with people,
Absolutely.
right?
Get together with some folks, you know, and play some games. And these will go over really well with people who are not into this kind of game. Get one of these, show it to them, and they'll have a great time, I think.
Yep, that's correct.
Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. Thank you, folks.
Sam Healey.
Watch our other Christmas videos on the flip side.